Okay, Katie, so you want to tell me a little bit about your lesson for tomorrow?
Yeah, so tomorrow I'm moving forward with my student with comprehension. We've been working on a Simone Biles article. It's, I would say between like third, fourth, fifth grade level, which is right where she falls within those strands. And I have broken down the article in very small chunks for her because I noticed the last time with my lesson, my pacing was way off. The text was a little too high for her. And I really have been trying to focus on breaking it down into small sections. So like each session, we're attacking two small paragraphs. And then if I'm noticing that when I ask her afterwards, like, okay, what actions we've been tracking actions. If I ask her and she's not really sure of what the actions are, we'll go back and we'll reread like through that lens of just actions. But for tomorrow, we're not doing actions. We're going to actually move forward with thoughts and words. And eventually this will all kind of lead and move forward to her doing some inference work.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you've chosen the new book, the Simone Biles book, and instead now you're breaking down into two paragraphs at a time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So can you elaborate a little bit on how the breakdown on this and how you think that's really gonna, be beneficial for her? And
yeah, Dr. Lee was actually talking yesterday about how, it's difficult for me because I teach seventh grade students that have a lot of these inferential skills kind of like within them already. So it's easy, a little bit easier for me to say like, oh, use your background knowledge and use the text.
Yeah.
But we often do use thoughts, words, and actions, in our lessons to kind of make inferences. So I thought about it yesterday and I was like, why am I not doing that with her? Which is why I decided to kind of switch in the moment and have her track actions and then track the thoughts and the words to kind of come up with these inferences. So that's kind of like where I want to lead her with the lessons and why I'm breaking them down and having her look at these separate sections to notice like, oh, we can notice actions here and thoughts and words here. So it's not too overwhelming for her.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan of attack. As your lesson is unfolding and, you're thinking, having her pull out those thoughts and actions, what is it going to look like? What is she going to be doing?
So she's going to read, and then if she can do it after the first time that she reads, she'll tell me whatever thoughts or words that she noticed that Simone Biles said. It's really just detail tracking right now because we're going to, at a later time, kind of try to make sense of those details and notice a pattern to come up with character traits. So she's just doing like the text finding right now. And I talked to her about how she almost has to be like a detective and find little clues in the text about her. So that's really all she's doing right now. What she does is she'll verbalize them to me and I record them on the slide for her just to save time.
Yeah.
It is comprehension. So I figured, let me not waste the time on having her type them. I can do it and she can just say them to me.
Okay. So you'll have a slide and everything that she is saying, you'll have a way of her being able to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she can always, every lesson I'm building them so we can always look back and refer back to the previous slides or,
How will you know that the lesson is going to be successful in the sense that Kay is going to pull out?
This is going to be a little bit different from my past two lessons because we've only been doing actions. So understanding like the transfer from actions to looking for now thoughts and words. Today, when I met with her, it was our second day of actions. So she was a little hazy about what we were doing yesterday. And we had to talk about that. And she couldn't remember the word until I had to pull it back up and show her again, like those are actions. I was asking her like, well, what did we say twisting and tumbling was? Like when you do a cartwheel, walking, running, what are those? And she was like, so I had to pull up the slide and show her again. She was like, action. So There's a lot of just like re-prompting her and reminding and rereading and referring back. But hopefully it will stick.
I think that what you have planned for her is definitely a good plan of and breaking it down. I think that the lesson will go pretty smoothly.
Yeah.
So in terms of what you want me to look for and what data you want me to look for, what were you thinking about that?
So I've been working really hard on my pacing since last time. I'd like you to just like take a look at my pacing and just, make sure that I'm taking like kind of thinking about wait time, like we
Okay.
talked about last time, and not giving her too much. And, just using my time wisely for the lesson.
Okay.
It's not too much, it's just right for her. And she's not really struggling too much, because
Yes.
there needs to be a little bit of like a
Yeah.
grit, like I have to grapple with this a little bit
Yeah.
and think about it, but it is appropriate, a level appropriate for her, and she's grasping it.
Okay. Awesome. So overall, what you're saying is you want me to look at your pacing and how much time you're spending on really each kind of section of your lesson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And also that it's, I don't know if it's too much for you to look at, but like, do you think it's level appropriate
Okay.
for her?
Yeah,
'Cause
I can look at them.
that's also been something that I've been struggling
Yeah.
with too.
Okay, that sounds good. I can do that. Sounds like a good lesson.
All right. Thank you so much. You're so good at this.